So I'm going to talk about how I overcame the worst case of emotional abuse in history, and maybe more generally about how one turns challenge into opportunity, lemons to lemons. So take a look on the other side of this.
Jon Myers has remarkably confronted the challenges of our time. Through his journey, Jon developed the philosophy that our goodness is strength. Together, we will change the world.
So when I say the worst case of emotional abuse in history, I want to keep, realms of fairness and forgiveness at the fore. Because for one, my family, inexplicably, where we had very deep familial roots, coming from Scranton, 4 grandparents living back to back, 2 grandmothers who lived over 100 years each, Jewish grandmother soup, and a brother who just incited this rampage against my life, starting, literally, 40 years ago or something giving a little bit of my age away. But it helps me understand people. And so when I say defeating, growing wisdom, genius even, that I believe I've obtained. Understanding what adversity does, it helps us grow as a person. So that's a great principle, number one, that when adversity comes, a challenge comes, it tests our values, okay? It says, well, what do you really believe? Do you believe what you're talking about? Because if you do, you might have quite a battle. And a lot of battles occur because they're unfair, right? Where the decks are stacked against you, okay? Because that's what really tests your values, right? It's easy to have your values if, things are going your way, if the sledding's easy. But when the cards are stacked against you, you see what I'm saying? When things are, you define what you really believe. Well, I believe in equality, I believe in fairness. Well, if you really believe it, you might have a lot of slogging ahead of you to establish that. And, I've saw some interesting videos myself and others, recently, and it's one of the great things about adversity and the challenges you take on, wins and losses aside, is what you become in the process. So I had my family ferociously turn against me for 28, 30 years. It was centered around my children and my raising them, divorce situation, and it was lots of wins and losses, and it gave me the opportunity to define myself, because it's the kind of thing I chose to stand in there and could not run away from what I believe. Okay, I care for my children. Well, you're going to have to prove it, right? You're going to have to stand in there for 28 or 30 years. And so sometimes the things we really say or think we believe, we're going to get tested. And that's what challenges do. They help to determine, well, who are we? What do we really believe? Now, also in the course of standing in there that long, right? You realize you have to develop, it's not a straight line, it's not a linear thing, it's zigzag. You realize you have to develop better qualities. You have to develop outstanding qualities, and especially if the mountain is high and you've got a lot of climbing to do, you've got to, in the process, you become a different kind of person. So when I say defeating emotional abuse, part of it is an emotional abuser. And for those who haven't experienced extreme narcissism, psychopathic attacks, and all this kind of thing, it's a whole other world. I mean, you have to the greatest empathy for people who've experienced that. But when you've experienced something like that, it gives you this, opportunity to become a much different person, that you learn qualities like empathy and determination and vision and consciousness in ways that you never had. So challenge will alter you. You can see it as an opportunity. So when I say defeat it, what I was getting at is that an emotional abuser is seeking to define you. Okay? That a lot of issues in society today come about because people are trying to A, tear you down, make themselves look better, and in the process they're falsely defining you. So the ultimate victory, if you will, is to define yourself, is to become is to overcome the circumstances, for sure, as best as you can, which is not always a certainty, although I believe you can. It's as much as anything, it's to define yourself in a better way. So if people are saying, well, you're lousy, he doesn't do much, you're developing the equal and opposite qualities. You're saying, I'm getting stronger, this is who I am. And when I say victory, I'm talking about things like, as I say, vision, gentleness, cooperation, determination, support for the equality or equity, if you will. But just generally that capacity to work, interdependence, work with others. So these are the kinds of things that I brought to the fore in my life to ultimately defeat the worst case of emotional abuse in history. And you could ask me directly more if I go into more detail, but generally get the sense of how I did it. And then you can take a look at our website if you're interested in our training and coaching and mediation characteristics of it. I love to tout, people getting this honor, the Science of Inner Strength honor, is a first step to becoming what I call societal champion through our training. So these are things to consider, and I want you to know that the key is that if with any challenge, or if you're being emotionally abused or anything, it's that opportunity, it's that chance to define yourself and to grow these greater qualities: cooperation, vision, respect, understanding, mutuality. That's what it is. So you'll learn more. Thanks.